You can watch this game and all NFHS Network Championship events on your iPhone or Android phone through our new app. Go to the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store to download it for free. Your NFHS Network subscription gets you access to all the live and on-demand content. Check it out today.
Top of the order for Westmont. The second at-bat for their leadoff hitter, the center fielder Daniel Speciale. Falls off the first pitch. Ropes one to first. Pitcher comes over. He's safe. The speed of the leadoff hitter, Speciale, gives Westmont a runner for Matt Hearn, the shortstop.
You know, we're back at the top of the order, and everyone's had a chance to see Gaylord once, and really maybe this is a time where they can time it, or whether Gaylord's still able to switch up his pitches and keep them guessing, but it's a great start for Speciale.
So the leadoff single by Speciale. Hearn reached on a walk and then was part of the double play to end the inning. On the fortunate side of the double play, as this one fouled out of play. And is it me, or there's a lot going on in the stands for this game? A lot of...
Yeah, you could add a couple souvenirs by now. I'm wondering if our cameraman's gotten any by now.
Not only that, there seems to be just a lot of just fun being had as a beautiful bunt laid down. Not in time, the throw in time, but the sacrifice laid down by Hearn is Speciale now at second, and that'll bring up Nick Mullen.
Just building off that, as you can hear by the mix of cheers and boos, it is really a very interactive game today, with fouls going into the stands, and you know, obviously fans certainly letting everyone know a piece of their mind. But you know, it's an exciting place to be tonight, and really all day long. It's been a great turnout for every game, and parents, family, friends really coming here to cheer on all these teams in their championship games.
Fouled out a play, nearing the 1 hour mark. 1 hour that's flown by. A lot going on in this ball game, on the field, off the field. 3-0 lead for Wilcox. As McMullen fouls off in the same place. Runner at second, 1 out. The 0-2 delivery. Ball one. Comebacker to the pitcher for the second out. But Speciale 90 feet away as Mike Morbo, who knows a thing or two about batting in runs, up at bat.
Yeah, certainly Morbo is hitting .414 on the season so far, and he had 18 RBI, so he's certainly not unfamiliar with this situation. And really, Westmont may be down by 3, but they have a very strong lineup. And so with players like Morbo, even McMullen that we just saw, anything can happen in these next couple of innings.
Oh, and 2 to Morbo. Slider appears to be working for Gaylord. And ground. Ball goes foul. Just one hit for Westmont, and that came by Speciale to lead off this inning. The run comes in as Morbo delivers just past the third baseman, and Speciale in to score. Westmont trailing 3-1 here in the top of the fourth. 2 out RBI single by Mike Morbo.
And you really can't fail to really talk about how determined both of these sides are. And, you know, just going down by one, we've seen comebacks already today, and we've also seen teams hang on to their lead. But so far, you can tell that Westmont is going to do everything they can to fight back after a 3-run deficit earlier on.
I believe that was a passed ball as Morbo scampers down to second. So Mitch Sancerre, the designated hitter, was walked in the second. Two 2-0 the count. So a wild pitch. Previously, big cut from Sancerre. Good block by Lorenzo Martinez. 3-1 the count. Lights on. And now impacting this game as no longer sun and shadows as the 2-out walk issued. So runners at first and second for Hesse, who grounded out to second. Back in the second. Actually hit into the double play. Tying run is on. What a play by the shortstop, but nowhere to go. And the infield single by Hesse loads the bases for Westmont.
Well, Westmont's certainly been able to capitalize on every opportunity in this 2-out so far, starting from the RBI single from Mike Morbo, but also on the other side, it was really a great stop from shortstop Adam Rios for Wilcox, saving a run potentially if that ball had gotten through the infield.
Sam Manilia hit in the spot. Now instead it looks like his cousin Tony Manilia strode up with bat in hand. Number 7 spot here, the Manilia cousins. 2 outs, table set for Westmont. And it will indeed be Tony Manilia. Both the Manilia cousins are juniors. Manilia, defensive end on the football team. This Manilia, Tony. His cousin Sam struck out in the previous inning to lead off the inning. The 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes. See if Gaylord can pitch himself out of a jam here. Ball 1. Ground ball to third, it's fair. Third baseman can't make the play. Madonka came out of his hand, could not recover in time. Morbo scores. Westmont trailing by 1.
Look at Tony Maniglia really coming in for his cousin Sam and staying calm, taking a couple pitches, and really being able though to just shoot one just down the third base line and off the glove of the third baseman. And a great job on second over there by Mitch Sancier to be able to beat them out back to third base before getting the force out.
We've got action in the Wilcox bullpen as Ethan Go, who lined out to second in the previous inning. 2 outs. Bases still full. Remember, Wilcox, one question they had without their number 2 pitcher, that's Justin Contreras, and looks like we have an entrance from the bullpen. This may be the end of the day for Gaylord on the mound. Nope. Head coach Paul Rosa going to stick with him. Counts 0-1 to Ethan Go. Tying run down at third. Oh, and 2.
Well, you mentioned earlier how limited the Wilcox staff is. And so I'm sure that the coach is just trying to settle him down, make a quick visit to the mound, but trying to really extend Gaylord's time on the mound as long as possible to really save the rest of the bullpen until absolutely necessary.
Now you see Go scamper out of the way, but the ball rolling down toward third. No way, Sancier. I believe actually we have a pinch runner in for Sancier. Our apologies for not getting that substitution to you earlier. Two and two as Samuel Montoya pinch running at third. The 2-2. Count now full. There's ice water in the veins of Ethan Go. The payoff pitch, and it's a strikeout. Gaylord gets in trouble, then gets himself out. 2 runs come in for Westmont.
2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 3 runners left. We move to the bottom of the 4th. Scoreboard now reads Hartford 30.
I believe that's 2 runs on 3 hits. Four hits, 2 runs on 4 hits, 3 left stranded. And heading in to the bottom of the 4th, it is a 1-run game. So Westmont, which seemed slightly intimidated in the beginning of this game, I expect their confidence to grow as they were able to get some runs in.
Yeah, well, Wilcox already had such an early lead with 3 that just having 2 and cutting away slowly is huge for Westmont and their confidence, especially just to get any runs on the board and kind of start that sort of momentum. And now what's really important is that Riley Fong is able to get back on the mound and really continue keep the lead, keep Wilcox's lead just at 1 and just get his team back into their dugout so they can try to chip away and potentially take the lead back.
The Wilcox Chargers.
First baseman, number 15, Patrick Tolbert.
4 hits, 3 off of McMullen, 1 off of Fong. And they look to their first baseman, Tolbert. Tolbert singled and then was driven home by the DH Najib Brush. Strike 1.
So at this point, it's important for Wilcox to really stay calm and try to extend their lead now that Westmont has been able to chip away, and especially in the middle of their lineup is a great time for them to really kind of start another rally potentially.
High for 2-1 as the defense of Westmont showing all kinds of respect to Tolbert here, playing deep. Three and 1. Ground ball to second. 1 out. And that brings up Gaylord, who grounded out to second, back in the second. First opportunity for Gaylord facing Fong. Strike 1. Fong able to keep the ball down. Westmont really wanting its pitching staff to throw. First pitch strikes. 0-2 to Gaylord.
Well, with both of these teams so threatening at the plate, it's so important for these pitchers to get ahead early and really not have to fight back from a 3-0 deficit or even a 3-1. So
3 pitches, 3 strikes. And it is the first strikeout for Riley Fong. 2 down as Najib Brush, who had the RBI, single, back in the second to score the first run. His second at bat, again, his first time facing Fong. Strike 1. One ball, one strike. Again, the first section final for Westmont since 1982. Foul tip for 1 and 2.
Fong has done a great job of getting ahead this entire inning, and really, despite besides the double that scored the 2 inherited runs, has been pretty solid so far for Westmont coming in.
In the dirt for 2 and 2. Wilcox head coach Tony Pianto. Westmont's head coach Tony Pianto. His 10th year, his 8th as head coach. Ken Johnson has assisted him all 10 years. Went 10 and 4 in the Mount Hamilton division for 3rd place. Gets by the 3rd baseman. Once again, Najib Brush gets on base. Yeah, they're going to score that an error on the 3rd baseman.
Well, Najib Brush has certainly just pretty much picked up where he left off in the last game, first dominating on the hill in Wilcox's last win, and then today really helping out at the plate with the RBI single, and now getting back on base to hopefully score some more insurance runs for Wilcox.
Martinez, the 2nd baseman. So an error committed by Westmont. First of the ball game, comes with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. And the throw down, you see perhaps the flash photography. As darkness is falling, 8:19 here on the West Coast. 68 degrees, down from 82 earlier in the day. Runner going, the throw down. Not in time. So a stolen base for Najib Brush.
And again, important for Wilcox, taking away the force out, really making Westmont focus on the batter and try to get that out at first. But are really just giving Martinez a little bit more of an incentive to get a hit.
The 1-1. High and inside for ball 2. Three and 1. Two down, runner at second. Wilcox gave up 2 runs in the top of the inning. Hit high to center field. Speciale makes the catch to end the inning. Wilcox, no runs on no hits, 1 left stranded. 1 error committed by Westmont. After 4, Wilcox with the 3-2 lead. We're going to take a short break and then return to San Jose Muni for the Central Coast Section Division I baseball game.
Hey, great party. Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well. This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burnt.
That's it. You're not gonna come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger. I don't grill it properly.
You wouldn't do it there.
Gotta be crazy.
So don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Top of the fifth, Westmont up, trailing 3-2 to the top-seeded Wilcox Chargers. Welcome back to the NFHS Network's coverage of the Central Coast Section Division I championship game. 1 versus 2. Wilcox held a 3-0 lead until Westmont got 2 runs in the 4th. And it is the number 9 hitter, Brandon Nichijima, strikeout victim. Back in the 3rd. And if there was any question about which Wilcox pitcher we would see here in the 5th, it's answered. It remains the starter, Robert Gaylord.
Well, he was able to get out of that crunch in the last inning, and I think the coaches are going to let him go as long as they possibly can with the limited staff that they have.
And a hit batsman allows the number 9 hitter for Westmont to jog down the first, and perhaps striding a little more stridently, if I may say such a thing, is the Wilcox coach.
That's a good way to say it.
Paul Rosa coming on out, and this may be it for Gaylord. It is. So Robert Gaylord exits the game, and what is very, very interesting is that it will be Najib Brush. Our understanding, he is allowed to go 3 innings here. That is his limit today, and he'll go ahead and warm up here.
So really, Wilcox coaches are hoping that Najib Brush can just close out the rest of this game starting in the 5th inning, and just they won't have to hopefully go to their bullpen and hope for any more help from their pitchers. So there's the coaching decisions that you've mentioned several times, is the strategies of when you need to take the pitchers out, and certainly that's why they try to keep Gaylord in as long as possible, especially last inning, to let him finish the 4th, and that way let Najib Brush come in and just not have to, hopefully for them, worry about switching pitchers for the rest of the game.
Gaylord gave up 4 hits, struck out 3, walked 3. 1 hit batsman. As out comes Andrew Najib Brush. He struck out the side in the 7th in that very tight semifinal game after Menlo Atherton pitcher balked home what would hold up as the winning run. And very interested to see Najib Brush in action. He's got a great reputation. The senior, again, headed to Mission College. 3 of these Wilcox Chargers heading off to Wilcox in the fall, and he will have the top of the order to contend with. And that'll be Speciale, who just hit in the previous inning, led off with a single, scored a run. Back in the 1st, retired on a fly ball to center field. With the warm-up complete, 1 on, no out, tying run at 1st. Go ahead run in the plate at Speciale, but this is one of the best pitchers in the section, and he opens up with a strike.
Well, it must certainly be nice to be able to have Najee Brush in the back of your bullpen after going so many, a complete game in his last outing, and being able to call on him to hopefully come and close this out for the Wilcox Chargers. And, being able to limit the damage. And on the other side, you see Westmont, and they know that Najee Brush is coming off of a complete game. And so after all his efforts in the field and at the plate on the hill, you want to take advantage of any little mistake that you might see from him.
Najee Brush coming out throwing fastballs, 2-2 the count. Ground ball to short, double play potential. Not in time. Hearn still looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 0 with a walk and a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, he's certainly had an interesting game so far, getting the walk in the first inning but being picked off. And, this is really his time to be able to come back from that. And you see on first base, Speciale being able to avoid the pickoff in this instance.
Boy, Najee Brush has a gun for an arm if he's accurate. I don't know how successful these any stolen base or how big a lead these base runners are going to be taking for Westmont. Speciale, of course, the leadoff hitter, obviously has some speed.
Really, Wilcox is going to take no chances with any base runners from Westmont. Keep their eye on him, like you were mentioning. Anyone could steal. They have some speed on the base paths, and with only a one-run lead, it's so important to make sure you keep an eye on every base runner.
Hearn seemed to concede that was a strike with his check swing. Not a pitch he ultimately wanted. Base runner going. The throw down. Got him. Lorenzo Martinez, and that fires up the Wilcox side of the grandstand here at San Jose Muti.
That's the second Westmont base runner that's been caught either stealing or picked off, and so these base runners are very precious in this game, and so another tough out for Westmont.
And Najee Brush just throwing harder now. One interesting comment by the Wilcox coach about this Westmont lineup. He said there's so many left-handed hitters up and down this lineup. You don't see that too often. As Najee Brush, the senior ace, with the punch out. Westmont, no runs, no hits, no one left on base. And heading in to the bottom of the fifth, Wilcox with a 3-2 lead, and you get the sense that it's new life for the Chargers as well.
Yeah, well, you certainly just kind of see the energy that Najee Brush brings with him, whether he's on the mound or even being so successful at the plate today too. And it just seems like that the throw out at second is such an energy booster, and it just really, brings up the motivation for Wilcox, and especially for Najee Brush to know that his defense is behind him and he's going to be able to count on them to get those important outs when it matters.
Big thanks to the folks at the Central Coast section, including the Assistant Commissioner and the Site Director today, Ray Mialovich. Also, fellow Assistant Commissioners Steve Filios and Dwayne Morgan, and of course the Commissioner Nancy Lazenby Blazer. The staff here at San Jose Municipal Stadium. Make sure you come on out to a San Jose Giants game. The best bang for your buck, a number of fireworks celebration. Must be fun to live in the neighborhood. Beautiful fireworks display put on here at this ballpark. Our
It must be
engineer.
interesting to be one of these players in the dugouts here, to be in the same place where these San Jose Giants of yesteryear have sat and gone on to be so successful with the Giants, and being in your own sort of, your own mini version of that. And here is such one of the most memorable moments of these players' high school careers, and whether they're going on to graduate or going on to prepare for next season. It's just it must be such an exciting experience for these players to really be able to see what it's like to have this viewpoint from the dugout tonight.
Ground ball to short. In time for the first out. Down goes Jordan Chasm. And that'll bring up the top of the order. Eric Mendonca. 1 for 1 with the run scored and a walk.
Just a bullet from shortstop Matt Hearn to just beat out Chasm to first and keep the runners off the base for this inning.
We're seeing some tools out on the field, such great skills from these players. Ball 1. The count.
It certainly seems that Wilcox has sort of had a command of this game from the get-go, and Westmont has been able to come back and cut the lead down. This is really the inning that they need to be able to shut down the Chargers and get back into their own dugout and try to really even it up today.
Mendonca almost coming out of his cleats. Big cut for 2-1. Will this 3-2 lead hold up? The other Chargers, the Leland Chargers, won the Open Division by the score over Bellarmine. Called strike for 2-2. Fong really taking his time. And the punch out. First time today, Mendonca does not reach base. Also the first time he faced Fong. 2 down as up comes Rios. And Rios, the last batter who has not faced Fong. He was hit by a pitch by McMullen in the first and then walked in the third, scored a run when driven home by Bradley Wilson. The third run of the ball game for the Chargers. And a hit batsman allows Rios to reach on 2 outs.
Yeah, and it looks like that just barely grazed whether it was his wrist or just somewhere on his arm, but just giving Wilcox another opportunity to kind of either extend their lead, but also Westmont now having to focus on a runner on first, and still 2 outs, so it's going to have to balance between keeping that runner in check, but really just trying to focus on the glove and getting out of the infield and back in the dugout.
Martinez, the first hitter to face Fong back in the third after McMullen was pulled. Retired on a fly ball to center field. Time called. And the shortstop Hearn comes in to make the play. Wilcox, no runs on no hits. One left stranded. Heading into the sixth. Chargers quickly out to play defense, playing with a 3-2 lead.
And if you want to watch more of your school's great events like the game you're enjoying here tonight, then tell your school to sign up for the NFHS Network School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to www.nfhsnetwork.com/SBP.
The producer of this broadcast is Jen Cosgriff. On camera today, Darren Kwan. Our engineers back at the NFHS Network headquarters include Daniel Drummond, Rachel Find, Chris Cashman, and Allie Devine. I'm alongside Allie Williams. I'm Kirsten Fairchilds. Thank you for joining us here on the NFHS Network, also known as the CCS Network. Westmont, 2 innings left for them in regulation, and they will lead things off with their number 3 hitter. Starting pitcher William McMullen, who was pulled for Fong. He's still looking for his first hit. Grounded out to shortstop. Hitting into double play in the first, and then retired on a comebacker in the fourth.
Well, we're winding down the day. 2 innings left potentially in the day. It's really started to become that do or die situation for Westmont. Only 6 more outs to go before, that's it. And so this is really the time that Westmont needs to be able to get on base, capitalize on anything that they can, and really start seeing the ball making contact in any way. Just starting to move down the lineup for them.
2-1 after the called strike. Morbo on deck for Westmont. Morbo with a hit and a run scored.
And on the other hand, you have Wilcox, who is also 2 innings away, but also from their Division I championship and taking the title. So for them, it's only 6 outs away from everything they've been working for all season. And so it's really the most important time for Najib Brush to really come through the way he has so many times this year.
Great comeback from Najib Brush. As Morbo steps in, 1 down, top of the 6th. Hits the outside corner of the strike zone. Strike 1. Comes back to the inside, 0-2. G. Brush just comes out, throwing fastballs. 2-2. Back-to-back strikeouts as Sancier, the designated hitter, 0-0 with 2 walks for Sancier. Ball 1. Two and 0. Sancier, the junior. He's in foul territory. A very efficient inning for the Wilcox Chargers as we head into the bottom of the 6th. The Chargers lead it 3-2.
The Warriors top of the 6th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no left. We're into the bottom of the 6th.
Bradley Wilson to lead it off for Wilcox. Big part of that productive 3rd inning for the Chargers.
Yeah, Wilson responsible for the 2 runs that scored in the 3rd inning after hitting a double, getting thrown out at 3rd from left field after the left fielder sort of bobbled the ball a little bit and slowed it down, and Wilson thought he could, and probably the third base coach thought that he could make it to 3 safely, and while he didn't make it, he did get 2 more runs on the board, and it's a big reason why Wilcox is ahead right now.
Fong's still out on the mound for Westmont. Barely had any time to catch his breath. Is this the Warriors' year? Looking for their first ever CCS title in the school history. Wilcox has 4.
Well, it's certainly been a Mount Hamilton division sort of a day so far. Both Leland and Branham taking their respective titles, and Westmont being down by 1, still a possibility, but Wilcox clearly trying to stop that trend tonight.
Temperature continuing to fall here, now down to 66 degrees. Strike 1. The Wilcox hitters are making the Westmont pitchers throw strikes. Fong, for the most part, has been able to do just that here in the latter innings. Low for ball 1. On deck is Tolbert. Two and 2 the count. And the curveball for the strikeout. 1 away as Tolbert, 1 of 2 on the day with a run scored. Pinch runner McNutt coming across for the first run. Strike 1.
And with another first place strike, Riley Fong has really come in as a great replacement for Westmont. After giving up letting those two inherited runners score. He's kept Wilcox scoreless for the next few innings.
Ground ball to short. This is Hearn. 2 away.
I mean, when you look at the past couple innings, Fong hasn't given up a hit. There was an error that allowed Najib Rush to reach first base, and then Fong hit Rios by a pitch. But besides that, he's really been able to limit the damage done by Wilcox over these final few innings.
With Gaylord out of the game, Santino Delgado, the senior, hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Once again, a base runner with 2 outs.
And we see Najib Rush coming up now, and he's been very busy all over the field today, having the RBI single in the 2nd inning and then reaching base on the error back in the 4th, and doing what he can to keep the lead for his team out on the mound, pitching 2 scoreless innings so far.
Drew Pfeiffer, the pinch runner, in for Delgado. Delgado mentioned as a possible relief pitcher for Wilcox today. G. Brush, RBI single in the 2nd, reached on an error by the Westmont third baseman in the 4th. Bottom of the 6th, 2 out. 1 on for Wilcox.
Fong is certainly going to keep that runner on first base as close to the bag as he can to be able to keep the option open for a potential force out at 2nd, or really just keep every opportunity open for his team in the field.
Ball 1. Wilcox looking for a 2-out rally. Base runner going. Go, checks his throw. And Pfeiffer with a stolen base.
I wonder if there was some sort of miscommunication there, or whether the catcher wasn't quite sure if anyone was going to be at 2nd with for Westmont, as 2nd baseman Nishijima was a little bit slower to get there, and shortstop Hearn was behind him, and so maybe Go kind of had to double pump a little bit just to make sure that he wasn't going to throw the ball into the outfield and give an extra base up.
Ground ball to first. Pitcher comes over and it's thrown away. Wilcox scores a run on the error. Pfeiffer comes in to make it a 4-2 ball game. And Westmont losing focus here again with 2 outs.
Yeah, and with that, it just looks like no one called for time, and just, if Martinez had the opportunity to take 2nd, he was certainly going to do that. No one was covering 2nd, so, Najib Brush. No one was covering. So much is happening right now, but no one was covering 2nd, so you might as well try to take that base and take away the force out later on, and really take whatever you can away from Westmont in these final couple innings.
2 errors committed by Westmont, both with 2 outs, and out comes our referee Dan McLean. After the conversation, Fong stays on the mound as Martinez 0 for 2 on the day. Wilcox with a run in. And no one covering second. These two teams reported to be fundamentally sound, so uncharacteristic errors by Westmont here in clutch situations. Fong does not get the call. Westmont with just a number of underclassmen, so the future looks bright for them if they can't find a way to rally in the 7th. First, they got to get out of the bottom of the 6th. And a one-handed catch by Paul Rosa. Chargers are feeling pretty good in that dugout. Barehanded catch, obviously.
Yeah, well, certainly no one must feel better than the pitcher and hitter himself. Najee Brushover on second base, getting himself a little bit more run support before they head back into the top of the 7th, and hoping to get a little bit more before they head back out on the field.
Roped foul as murmurs come up from the crowd. Westmont caught napping. If someone would have reacted sooner to Najee Brush heading down to second, they'd have a bat on their shoulder at this point. Another ball called.
Some of the fans not quite happy with that last pitch.
Martinez fouls that off to stay alive. All day long we heard from coaches it would be the team that takes advantage of its opportunities. Certainly the case here with Wilcox up 4-2. Driven to center. And a tad mercifully, Daniel Speciale makes the play to end the inning. Not before Wilcox scores 1 run on no hits. 1 left stranded, Westmont committing 1 error. 3 outs remaining for the Westmont Warriors. They trail 4-2 in this championship game.
Join the conversation, fans. The NFHS Network is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, giving you access to the best in high school sports every week. Follow the NFHS Network on your favorite social media sites to keep up with all the high school action on the NFHS Network. Hashtag We Are High School.
It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for Westmont, including Hans Hesse, who had a hit back in the 4th. And Tony Manilia also had a hit, hitting in place of his cousin. And the Westmont fans chanting, "Let's go Westmont." They want to see some more baseball here at Muni today.
Well, Westmont was able to score 2 in the 4th inning, so very possible for them to do it again and come back. But they have to face Najee Brush, who has been solid last game, today, on the mound and at the plate. And they have quite a challenge ahead of them, but, 2 runs, and they've done it before in this game, and they could do it again.
Just shy of the 2-hour mark. Started things off today with a 1 p.m. game, and Leland beating Bellarmine 3-2 for the open final, and the Leland Chargers at the prom right now.
Yeah, the Chargers certainly having a fantastic day so far. Congratulations to them as these Chargers look to take their title in the Division I championship. 3 outs away.
Hesse to lead it off for the 7th. In the 7th. 1 for 2 on the day. Foul tip for strike 1. First look at Najee Brush for Hesse. In fact, next 4 hitters will have their first look at Najee Brush, who's on a mission. Senior wants to wrap up his high school career with a CCS championship. Check swing. The appeal denied, declined. 1-2. Andrew, the chant from the Chargers fans for their pitcher. Fouled out of play. The 1-2 delivery. Check swing or foul tip. Money team is what the Westmont fans are calling for. And the Warriors have a man aboard. The hit given by the official book, and it's a leadoff single for Hesse. 2 for 3 on the day. As Tony Manilia singled in the 4th. In fact, this back-to-back appearances here, plate appearances, was successful back in the 4th. It's one thing we couldn't see St. Francis do in the previous game is string hits together. Westmont trying to duplicate that 4th inning. However, once again, Westmont hitter in a hole, 0-2.
Yeah, and that's something we've all seen Westmont struggle with except for the 4th inning. Stringing together hits, and in that 4th inning, that's when they scored their 2 runs. So, and, Tony Manilia was certainly a part of that as well.
A 3-pitch punch out. Down goes Manilia. Go. We may have a change here. And we will have a pinch hitter for Westmont. It's number 12, Gavin Paradise. This goes into extra innings here, or at least goes into the bottom of the inning. You can expect Paradise to take over for Ethan Go at catcher. Paradise's senior was hurt earlier in the year. See if the Warriors can benefit from his presence in this game as he looks at strike one. 1 on, 1 out. Westmont down by 2, tying run at the plate. Top of the 7th. Number 2 seed trailing the number 1 seed. Ball 1. The G brush is just body language, just so confident. Just looks as if he will not be denied. Foul back for 1 and 2.
And you can really see he's just focusing on the runner right now. He's, keeping an eye on first base, but really with a 2-run lead, even if Hesse ends up, taking that and passing home, they really still have the 1-run lead. So it's really what he's focusing on.
The Big Cheese, 4 consecutive strikeouts, 1 out remaining. The number 9 hitter, Brandon Nishijima, the second baseman, 1 on. Nishijima representing the tying run. Strikeout from Gaylord. Hit into a double play also against Gaylord. He is the last batter yet to face Najim Brush, who is just feeling it tonight. Wilcox 1 out away from celebrating a CCS championship. Ball 1. Westmont dugout appealing to their fans. They want some noise. Want them to cheer on their number 9 hitter. 2-1. Top of the order right around the corner, and that includes Speciale. He's been a bright spot in the lineup. He's on deck. 2-2. Brandon Nishijima, the sophomore, facing the senior. Stays alive. Runner going, as you can see. Wilcox 1 strike away from victory. Line drive to left. It's just foul.
And with that, you really just could feel the energy rise with the ball. It was, such a great crowd coming out with Westmont just cheering them on until the very end. And, with the underclassmen performing the way that they have this season, and the sophomore coming in such an important situation. Westmont is a relatively young team. They have 2 freshmen and 4 sophomores. They have a lot to look forward to moving forward, as does Wilcox. But, Wilcox has 9 seniors versus Westmont 6, and very important.
The Chargers reset. The 2-2. Fouled out of play. The at-bat continues for the sophomore, Brandon Nishijima. Again, Speciale on deck. 2 down, runner at first, runner going. And safely down at second is Hesse, as Martinez electing not to make the throw. Tying run at the plate. However, Wilcox an out away. Could this be it? Ground ball, foul. Best at bat of the night, to say the least, for Nishijima. I have to give the Westmont fans the loudest crowd award. Great school spirit. Making a lot of noise. Will it be enough? Count full. Pitch to determine the championship. And Nichijima's got a bead on Najee Brush, and not too many Westmont hitters can say that tonight.
Yeah. But you can certainly see he's battling. You can feel the bench. You can watch them cheer him on. Very big moment for the sophomore.
Once again, comebacker to Najee Brush. He's going to run it over himself. Wilcox has done it. Despite an entertaining 7th inning from the Westmont hitters, Wilcox claims the championship with a 4-2 victory. Number 1 has beaten number 2, and a Division I title has been decided.
It's a hard-fought battle from both sides, and really just a strong performance from everyone on the Wilcox team. And what a great job for everyone, both on the mound, in the field, at the plate. And, you know, it's been a long journey for both of these teams, and both played exceptionally well throughout these playoffs. But really, Wilcox was able to come out on top and just do such a great job to get their team the win. And really, Najee Brush coming in and just closing out those final 3 innings. Just a solid job all around.
Westmont ends the year at 23-10. Wilcox picks up win number 25. It's sweetest, I'm sure. 25-8, the 2014 record for the Wilcox Chargers. We will step away and return for our NFHS Network post-game show, where we will name our player of the game. Back with more from Muni in just a bit. Time now for the NFHS Network post-game show. All the baseball played today at San Jose Municipal Stadium. Exciting, but perhaps the most exciting game, this Division I championship game. Westmont threatened in the end, but the number 2 seed just didn't have enough firepower to contend with the top-seeded Wilcox Chargers. The Chargers a 4-2 victory for the CCS Championship. Alongside Allie Williams, I'm Kirsten Fairchills. Thank you for joining us for our post-game show. Allie, great excitement here in this game, but Wilcox just seemed a little more polished in this big game atmosphere.
Yeah, it seemed like they were a little bit more comfortable from the get-go and able to really limit the damage, and there were certain times that Westmont was able to get on the board at least, but even with that, Wilcox was able to limit the damage, get back off the field, and, you know, stop it when it was important. But they were also able to take advantage of errors or, you know, important things that happened throughout the game to give them enough of a lead to really cruise into the 7th inning and just focus on getting those final outs, not even have to worry about the base runner on base with a 2-run lead, and just get those final outs and take home a title.
Congratulations to the Chargers picking up their 5th CCS title in the sport of baseball. Time now for the NFHS Network player of the game. That is the senior Andrew Najee Brush. Started off as a designated hitter and then moved to the mound, pitched 2 2/3 innings in relief. Gave up no runs on 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit batsman. A great effort from him, and also drove in the first run of the ball game with the RBI single, reached twice on the 2 Westmont errors, but just also, you know, the little things, the intangibles. I think his presence, his body language, his obvious confidence really seemed to energize this Wilcox team. You got the impression that he is a true leader on the field.
Yeah, you were able to really get the energy going with that first run, and then it really seemed like the second that he got on the mound, he just shut down the rest of the Westmont Warriors, and it just seems like such a strong presence from the senior. I mean, to have someone on the team that can really excel in every facet of baseball, when you have someone like that on your team, like Najee Brush, it's just such a game changer that for your entire team.
The only #1 seed playing in action today got the job done. The Wilcox Chargers a 4-2 victory over Westmont. On behalf of the entire NFHS Network crew, including our producer Jen Cosgriff, our cameraman Darren Kwan, Allie Williams, I'm Kirsten Fairchills. Thank you for joining us. The NHS Network considers it a privilege to cover high school sports in the state of California and beyond, and that is certainly the case here in the Central Coast section. Wilcox Chargers, your D1 champs with a 4-2 victory over Westmont. It's been great to have you all school year. We'll see you in the fall here on the NFHS Network.